Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that the AFC North is heating up in a way that could really shake things up for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. And no, I'm not just talking about the usual battles between Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and the Steelers. There's a lot of movement happening behind the scenes that could reshape how this division looks in the coming months. Recently, the Steelers made a bold, strategic move that's been making waves, trading away George Pickens, one of their most exciting young wide receivers. Now, this isn't just a typical roster shakeup, it's a calculated decision aimed at managing salary cap issues, but it creates a pretty significant gap in their receiving core. Let's be honest, losing Pickens, who showed flashes of brilliance and had the potential to be a true game changer, leaves a hole that's hard to fill. The Steelers, like many teams, are trying to balance their payroll and roster flexibility, especially with the rising costs of top-tier wide receivers like DK Metcalf. Over the past few seasons, the NFL has seen players like Metcalf command over $30 million a year, and Pittsburgh simply can't afford to pay both him and Pickens that kind of money. So the decision was made: trade Pickens, free up some cap space, and look for options to strengthen the team elsewhere. But here's the thing, this move leaves the Steelers in a tricky spot when it comes to their WR2 position. Currently, the options are pretty limited. Robert Woods is there, sure, but he's not exactly the explosive, downfield threat the Steelers need to complement DK Metcalf. Will Howard and Mason Rudolph are fighting for the starting quarterback spot, but when you look at the overall picture, it's clear that the team needs to add a reliable, proven receiver to the mix. And that's where the big news kicks in. The Steelers are reportedly eyeing a trade with the New Orleans Saints for Chris Olave. Now Olave, for those who might not be fully caught up, has been a bright spot in the NFL during his first 3 seasons. He's accumulated over 500 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns, averaging a solid 13.4 yards per reception. That's impressive for a young guy, and it shows he's got the speed, route running ability, and field vision to be a real difference maker. His first 2 seasons saw him eclipsing the 1,000-yard mark, which is no small feat for a rookie and sophomore in this league. Last year, however, was a bit of a setback, only 400 yards, mainly because of a concussion he suffered in Week 9 against the Carolina Panthers that sidelined him for the rest of the season. But let's not forget, Olave is only 24 years old. He's still in the early stages of his career and his talent is undeniable. What makes Olave such an attractive target for the Steelers? Well, his footwork, his ability to get separation off the line, and his downfield threat capability are exactly what the team needs to elevate their offense. His average depth of target, or ADOT, over his career is 13.8 yards, meaning he's comfortable and effective stretching the field. Pairing him with DK Metcalf would give whoever the Steelers' quarterback is, whether it's Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, or someone else, a much-needed weapon to open up the passing game. Think about it. Metcalf's size and physicality combined with Olave's speed and route running could create mismatches all over the field. That kind of pairing could be a nightmare for defenses and a huge boost for Pittsburgh's offensive production in 2025. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. What about the Saints? They're entering a bit of a transitional phase themselves, especially with Kellen Moore taking over as head coach after the departure of Dennis Allen and Derek Carr retiring. The Saints are looking to rebuild and focus heavily on draft capital for the 2026 NFL Draft. Acquiring a young, talented receiver like Olave fits perfectly into that plan. They're willing to part with him because they want draft picks, and Olave, despite his injury last year, has enough upside to be a key piece for their rebuilding strategy. But for the Steelers, this trade makes a lot of sense. They're in a win-now window, and grabbing a 24-year-old receiver who's already proven he can produce at a high level is a smart move. Of course, the Saints will want a hefty price in return, probably multiple draft picks or a high-value player, but Pittsburgh should be willing to pay that price. This kind of move would give the Steelers an immediate upgrade at wide receiver and a long-term piece to build their offense around. And let's not forget, with the current quarterback situation, adding a reliable target like Olave could be the difference-maker in close games and in the playoff push. Considering the offensive line is also getting some attention in the offseason, giving the quarterback more weapons is essential for any success this season. In the broader context, this move also signals a shifting power dynamic within the division. The Steelers, historically known for their tough defense and balanced attack, could become even more dangerous if they bolster their receiving core. The AFC North has always been a competitive division, but with teams like the Bengals trying to rebuild, and the Ravens always lurking with their own set of weapons, Pittsburgh needs to stay aggressive. Acquiring Olave isn't just about improving the roster, it's about establishing a statement that they're serious contenders, that they're not content with just competing, they want to dominate. And speaking of the Steelers' recent history, it's worth mentioning how this franchise has always been about resilience and smart moves. From the days of the Steel Curtain defense to their recent Super Bowl victories, Pittsburgh has thrived on strategic planning and knowing when to strike. This potential trade for Olave fits perfectly into that mold. It's a calculated risk that could pay off exponentially, giving the Steelers a dynamic receiver who can help reshape their offense and elevate their chances of returning to the Super Bowl stage. The team's management has shown a willingness to adapt and evolve, and this move would be another example of that smart, forward-looking approach. As we look ahead to the upcoming season, it's clear that the Steelers are positioning themselves for a serious run. The addition of Olave would not only fill the gap left by Pickens, but also provide a long-term solution at receiver. It's about building around young talent, creating a versatile, explosive offense, and positioning themselves as true contenders in the AFC. Their defense, always a strong point, remains one of the league's best, and now with upgraded offensive weapons, they could be a more complete team than ever before. Of course, all of this hinges on how the trade negotiations develop, what draft capital the Steelers are willing to part with, and how quickly Olave can get back to full health after his injury last year. But the signs point toward a very exciting future for Pittsburgh, and for the fans, that's exactly what we want to hear. We've seen the Steelers make bold moves before, and this could be another one that defines their 2025 season. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you believe Olave can be the difference maker for the team? Are you excited about the direction the franchise is heading? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. We're in an exciting time, and this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing in recent memory. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, let's keep that Steelers spirit alive and well. Keep supporting the team, keep the faith, and let's see what the future holds. Until next time, Steelers Nation.